Greetings. Glad you're here tonight. We're here for the regular session of the Jacksonville City Council, Tuesday, September 12th, 2023 at 6 p.m. We do have a quorum, so I will call us to order. Our first item is our invocation and then our pledges to the flag. So if you'll join me, I will give an invocation and then we'll pledge our flag. So, Father, we just thank you for another opportunity to gather as free citizens because of the hard work that our military has done to allow us to have that freedom. We just thank you for the people that have gathered here tonight, and I just pray that as the leaders of our city, that every decision that we make would be for the benefit of the whole of our city, that we could continue to make Jacksonville a better place to live, work, and raise our kids. We just thank you for the blessings. We just thank you for your watch, care, and protection over our first responders, and we just pray that you would continue to do that. Just thank you for all the things that you do in each of our lives. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. If you'll join me in the pledges, first to the American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the state of Texas. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. Our first item is National Night Out Proclamation. So I will come and present this to the chief. Oh, and Amanda. All the good folks in blue. As you know, last year what did we win last year? Second in the nation, and we're going for the first place this year.
No pressure.
No pressure at all.
Yeah.
No pressure at all.
Jeez.
Yeah. So I have a proclamation tonight, National Night Out 2023. Whereas the National Association of Town Watch sponsors a national community building campaign on Tuesday, October 3, 2023, entitled National Night Out. And whereas the National Night Out campaign provides an opportunity for neighbors in Jacksonville to join over 38 million neighbors across 17,000 communities from all 50 states, U.S. territories, and military bases worldwide. And whereas National Night Out is an annual community building campaign that promotes community partnerships and neighborhood camaraderie to make our neighborhoods safer, more caring places to live and work. Whereas the neighbors in Jacksonville assist the local law enforcement agency through joint community building efforts and support National Night Out 2023. And whereas it is essential that all neighbors of Jacksonville come together with police and work together to build a safer, more caring community. And now, therefore, I, Mayor Randy Gorham, do hereby call upon all neighbors of Jacksonville to join your organization and the National Association of Town Watch in support of National Night Out on Tuesday, October 3, 2023. Further, let it be resolved that I, Mayor Randy Gorham, do hereby proclaim Tuesday, October 3, 2023, as National Night Out in Jacksonville. Signed this the 12th day of September, 2023. So, present it to you guys. So, we're looking forward to bringing home the trophy this year. But if we don't, we still love you. Oh. Good deal. You bet. Oh, yeah. You bet. Thank you. Yeah, there you go. Our next item is a Business of the Month to be presented by Sherry McDonald with Jedco. If you'll come forward and do that. And Daryl, you want to join her, or you're going to let her? Yeah. Oh, you'll get in the picture. Okay, cool. Go ahead.
Care up here. Jedco likes to recognize businesses for just operating in Jacksonville. We want to show our appreciation but I can't imagine a business more deserving than Westbrook's to receive this award. I think of icons in Jacksonville like the Tomato Bowl and the Basket Factory and Sadler's. I also think of Westbrook as an icon in Jacksonville. It just seems like it's been around forever. Westbrook's is a gas station, self-serve, and full service, yes, and they also have like a auto repair service shop. Mr. Westbrook is just, he prides himself on customer service, and that's something that is lacking in so many businesses today. His customer service is impeccable. I just know all of his customers love him, and they would come from far away just to get their gas at Westbrook's. My parents are one of them for sure. We can't say enough good things about Westbrook, and I just thought I would let Mr. Westbrook say a few words if he wants to.
Well, thank you. I appreciate this a whole lot. It only took me 52 years to get this. So don't get your hopes up. I tell you, you know, this is really a great thing. And, you know, the paper always, every year, gives away a Choice of the People award. Well, Randy was in the station one morning early, like he always comes in, getting gasoline, and I was talking to him a little bit about that, you know, I'd been the winner of that for about 3 or 4 years in a row. He said, Kent, he said, if you'd ever get out of this place and drive around Jacksonville a little bit, you'd find out you're the only full-service station in town. So it kind of hurt my feelings just a little.
Thank you.
There you go.
Drive around a little bit, huh? Throwing darts.
It's easy to get into number one when you're there. Thank you, Mr. Kent. You bet. And we have one more special presentation to recognize Dr. Robert Haberly's 6 years of service to the Jacksonville Economic Development Board. So, Dr. Haberly, you'll come. If you don't know, Dr. Haberly, can I call you Robert? Well, okay. Robert has given his life to public service. A lot of people may not know that you served with the Dallas Fire Department for 20 years, close? 13 years, right, 20, let's go with 20. Closing in on 20. And then he came and, did you ever serve on the city council? Never. But he gave 6 years of his life in public service as our mayor back a few, well, there's his picture, three. That's right. And he probably inspired me. Back then, I was just kind of hiding in the bushes saying, go, Robert, go, Robert, go. But he truly inspired me because I saw what he got out of public service. He really did. He took it to heart. He gave it everything he had. And when he got out of the mayor business, of course, y'all probably know, the city council, we appoint the directors for the Jacksonville Economic Development Corporation. And at some point, someone appointed Dr. Robert to serve on that, and he served from July 2017 through June 2023. He's got a wealth of knowledge. Personally, I hated to see him not re-ante up, but I understand that sometimes it's time to pass the torch to someone else. So we just wanted to recognize you tonight. In appreciation, the city of Jacksonville recognizes Robert Haberly for his outstanding contribution as a member of the Jacksonville Economic Development Corporation Board of Directors, July 2017 through June of 2023. All righty. Now we'll get down to the real business, right? Citizens participation. This is a time we set aside time for someone to address the council. Did anybody, nobody? Okay, no cards, so we'll go to our next item. which is our consent agenda. If you'll see that, item number 7. They require little or no deliberation. Approving the minutes, just some street closures, the jingle jog, those kind of things. So I will entertain a motion on item number 7.
I'll make the motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Rob Goen.
Second.
Second by Mayor Pro Tem Tim McCray. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. Item number 8 is any action out of executive session if necessary, and I think we have 1 or 2?
We have 2 motions.
2 motions, so
Mayor.
go ahead.
The first being to authorize the city manager to publicly auction the following lots for sale with a reserve price. Lots 2, 3, and 4 in the Summit subdivision and Lot 1, Block C in the Lake Springs subdivision.
Okay. You make that in form of a motion?
I did make it.
Okay.
Didn't I?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have a motion by Councilwoman Mindy Gallick,
Second.
second by Councilman Rob Goen. Any discussion about those? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. Now, our second.
Okay, and the second motion is to renew the city manager's contract.
Very good. So we have a motion from Councilman Gallick, second by Mayor Pro Tem Tim McCray. Any discussion about that? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. All right. At this point, you want to introduce?
You go ahead.
Okay.
Hey, you want me?
Huh?
You got it?
I got it.
All right.
I got it. We have a special person in our audience tonight. As you know, Keith Fortner had retired 6 weeks ago or 8 weeks ago, or how long that is. Our city manager put together a team to search out our new fire chief. Hey, I know. Well, our new fire chief. Our new fire. You're safe for now. That's good, right? Okay. It was comprised of a fire chief out of Longview, the 2 EMS coordinators / COs of our local hospitals, James and Renissa. We had how many applicants?
What about 19 applicants?
19 applicants.
Yep.
They narrowed them down to 5 and did the interviews. And it's always great to have someone that cut his teeth here in Jacksonville that had moved away to come home and finish his career. And we're very pleased tonight to introduce Mr. Paul Finley as our new, come on up. Yeah, if you'd like to say a few words, that'd be great.
Thank y'all so much. As I told you earlier, it's a bit surreal for me to be standing here at this point in my career. The good Lord has blessed me more than I deserve, for sure, and I count it as a blessing to be standing here with you right now. As you mentioned, I started work here in '94 as a firefighter and a paramedic. But as I mentioned to you back there a while ago, I like to tell folks I started here in '76 when I was about 4 years old, coming to work with my dad. I'm certain they didn't have policies against kids riding on fire trucks back in those days, because I spent the night up here a good bit. So I've got there's a lot of connections that run deep. My folks still live here, and we still go to church here, and it's very much home for my wife and I and our kids. We grew up here, and so getting to come back in this capacity. I know some of your staff in the fire department. I'm hanging on to the podium because I'm so happy I can't hardly sit still or stand still, and looking forward to it.
You bet.
To come back.
Thank
Sure
you.
appreciate all
You
y'all.
bet. We look forward to a long relationship. We really do. Thank you, Paul.
All right.
Good to see
Appreciate
you
it.
tonight.
Thank you.
Paul.
Yeah. Item number 9 is the second reading of a resolution in support of economic development incentives. So I assume Sherry?
I'm going to handle it. If you
Oh,
don't
you're
mind.
okay.
Yeah,
Great.
I'm
great.
sorry for that.
No, that's fine.
We didn't do our rehearsal.
That's okay.
Yeah. So, Mayor, City Council, this is the second reading of this resolution in support of economic development programs by the Jacksonville Economic Development Corporation. These were approved by the Board of Directors. They held a public hearing at a JEDCO meeting, and the first reading of this resolution was held actually at a JEDCO meeting, and we did a complimentary reading at the Thursday workshop of the City Council on Thursday, September 7th. So this is the second reading. There's a slide there in front of you. This is for $400,000 of funding for their matching grant programs. That's the demolition grant, the facade grant programs, and the downtown redevelopment program grant. You see there some lifetime accomplishments since the life of these programs about 5 years ago, established in around 2018. And then you also see their fiscal year 2023 progress, which I think is extremely notable. 6 DRP grants downtown, filling what were 6 vacant spaces, and just complete transformations of many of those buildings. So you see one there. It doesn't look like something you would have seen in Jacksonville until it opens its doors late last week. So an amazing transition of that building and all the rest. I don't mean to minimize them, but Roma's, Food and Table, Comet Cleaners, even the Chamber. We had a meeting there earlier this week in the back of that building, and I remember not long ago walking in the back, and it was just old bankers' boxes with dust. And to be able to have a professional meeting there with the school district and the Chamber earlier this week was a privilege. So anyway, this is what that is all about. If you have any questions, I'm going to go ahead and read the second reading of the resolution here, and then if there are any follow-up questions, I'm happy to address them on, with Shane not being here. Resolution number 09-2023-01, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Jacksonville, Texas, approving projects of the Jacksonville Economic Development Corporation that may include land, buildings, equipment, facilities, expenditures, targeted infrastructure, and improvements found by the Jacksonville Economic Development Corporation's Board of Directors to promote new or expanded business development within the City of Jacksonville, providing for severability and establishing an effective date.
Very good.
This is done annually, just so
Right.
the
Okay.
council is aware.
Okay. So item B of that is to consider with possible action a resolution in support of that. We've heard our resolution, and I'll entertain a motion on that.
Mayor, I make a motion,
Go ahead.
I make a motion that we approve the resolution in support of the economic development incentives.
We have a motion by Councilwoman Latitia Horace,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Mindy Gallick. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that does pass. Let me digress back to Chief Paul Finley. We're going to have an open house, kind of a reception for him, Tuesday, October 24th, here at Council Chambers from 6 to 7:30, kind of a meet and greet, if you'd like to come and welcome him to our team. So, sorry I forgot about that one. So. All right. Item number 10 is to discuss and consider with possible action a resolution authorizing the application for a solid waste grant through East Texas Council of Governments in support of a community-wide cleanup day.
Yeah, Mayor, City Council, this item comes out of our Public and Community Services Department. Last year they were able, with the help of Kimberly Lynn and Roxanne and everybody, Daniel Seguin and everyone, pulled together quite an event, and were successful in receiving almost $10,000 of monies from the East Texas Council of Governments. This was an event kind of headquartered, if you will, out of the John Alexander Gym, but it included roadside litter cleanup, park litter cleanup. But I really think the bread and butter of the event is the fact that our citizens can come with their water bill and an ID and drop off tires, oil, all different kinds of things that they would otherwise have difficulty getting themselves or removing from their home, as well as bulky trash. I think last year we filled up somewhere in the neighborhood of 16 25-yard roll-off dumpsters. Republic is part of this as well. We are going to seek funding to offset the costs for our 2024 date, which is TBD at this point, but likely we'll target the month of March again.
Very good. So you've heard that explanation. I'll entertain a motion on that.
I'll make a motion that we authorize the application for a solid waste grant through ETCOG to support our community-wide cleanup day.
Good. We have a motion by Councilman Rob Goen.
Second.
Second by Mayor Pro Tem Tim McRae. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. Our next item is a public hearing to hear and receive input, citizen input regarding the proposed 2023-2024 budget. So,
Yeah, Mayor, I'd like to make a quick presentation. I gave
Yeah.
kind of a more robust presentation at the last meeting, which included all city funds tonight, since we're really strictly talking about the budget, and as it pairs with the tax rate, we'll just kind of focus on the general fund, and then we can have the public hearing and move through that. But the title, if you will, of this year's budget, last year was People Are the Priority, this year is Deliberately Better. And what we mean when we say that to you as our citizens and our constituents is that we identify that we can always do better. That doesn't mean that we're not doing good or even great in many of our areas now, but we can always do better. Sometimes that means we need different pieces of equipment. Sometimes that means we need to reallocate manpower. Sometimes that means we just need to take a look and roll up our sleeves at changing how we do business. Sometimes that means customer service and implementing new technology to make sure we're meeting the demands of the citizens. But in any event, there are a lot of steps taken in this year's budget to make sure that next year we're just that much better than we are sitting here today. This was a strategy map. You've seen this several different council meetings. We use this to kind of guide our behind-the-scenes decision-making here at the city. It's on the wall in the council chamber, or I'm sorry, in the executive conference room. It's something that's regularly in front of our council, and we're using it to further refine some strategic performance measures for our departments right now. So here's kind of a snapshot at the net taxable assessed value within the city limits of Jacksonville. This doesn't apply to the county or county residents necessarily, or school district. This is strictly the county, but we did see an increase of about 13.86% in our tax base. And then you see how that applies to our proposed tax rate this year of 63763 cents, down just over 4 cents or 6% from our current fiscal year. So here's a 10-year snapshot look at our tax rates. So you'll note the last 3 years we've had decline from the 68995 to the 68065, and now, if adopted tonight, at the proposed 63763 cents. So here's a look at the impact to the average homestead. Last budget year, tax year, the average homestead had a value of $121,756. This year that we're moving toward has a $135,668 average value. That's up about 11% or 11.5%. But you see about a 6.3% reduction in the proposed tax rate from the 68065 to the 63. And so city taxes due for the average home in the city of Jacksonville would be $865.06, or up 4.38%. If you take a look and you apply the rate to that assessed value, you come up to an increase in the average home's tax bill of $36.33 annually, or just over $3 a month. So what do you get for that $3 a month? What are we going to do better next year than we may be doing now, or what resources are we going to have to deploy on your behalf? This is what the general fund and ad valorem dollars fund here in the city of Jacksonville. You probably have interacted with one or more of these departments within the last year. I hope it was a positive interaction, and we certainly want to make sure that it's that way in the future. Some ways we're going to do that, continue to do that, or enhance our service levels, if you will. I'm pleased to let you know that there's a Parks and Rec director in this year's budget. We're about to literally put millions of dollars into the park system throughout town, from Lincoln to Hazel Tilton to the lake and Buckner and even more. And so I think having some additional resources in that area will be beneficial. Also to help promote our recreational programs, or really rather establish some recreational programs. We really need some low-cost opportunities for the public, the youth, and those more mature in the community to engage with one another and to develop community. So I look to this position to be programming some parks, certainly working with our sports associations, but using our parks and open space as opportunities to develop and enhance the sense of community here in Jacksonville. Also pleased to let you know that we have 2 additional patrol officers in this year's budget, so I know Chief Williams looks to putting those men and women to good use. They do our community a service now, and giving them a little more man or woman power, if you will, is certainly a welcome addition to the budget. 1 additional code enforcement officer as well. This will be slightly different than our current code enforcement in the sense that it'll be a civilianized or a non-sworn code enforcement officer, but they'll still be under the direction and supervision of Chief Williams. He loves it. The animal shelter, we're adding 1 additional part-time employee there. The animal shelter is it's a difficult operation. It really is. You have, there's no shortage of animals on the loose in the county and in the community. We're cracking down a little bit on that as best we can. but also just the care for those animals that are in our custody, if you will. It's an around-the-clock operation, and so to give that operation one additional part-time employee was something we saw fit. We also have one additional full-time accountant. We'll talk about some contracts later in tonight's meeting, and so accountants are more than just crunching numbers. They're also helping with our purchasing decisions and essentially, paying for themselves and helping us do wise procurement on behalf of the citizens. And then 1.5 additional part-time employees to staff the pool during the swim season. So that's also a difficult operation. It relies heavily on teens and adolescents and those who are moving, kind of transitioning rather from high school to college in many cases. And so it's a difficult job to supervise kids in a pool environment, but it's also just a difficult job to recruit for. But we think some additional resources will benefit those operations. Here's a look at another funding source for the general fund. We've seen incredible, I guess, if you will, increases in our sales tax collections here in the city. I'll note, though, that we still do lag almost every one of our peer cities, so Athens, Palestine, Henderson. Many of those cities have substantially stronger sales tax bases than we do here in Jacksonville. We're seeing a positive trend, and I hope we can see it continue. This year's budget includes a 4.35% increase in the projected revenue from sales tax, bringing it to that $3.539 million number. So from 5 years ago in the as budgeted in fiscal year 19 to as budgeted in this upcoming fiscal year, you note a $1.2 million increase in our budgeted sales tax revenue. That's just to the city. Mind you, the county also benefits from sales tax collected within the city limits, as does JEDCO, the Economic Development Corporation. But just to the city, we're estimating about a $1.2 million increase in those 5 years. And if you apply that, our tax rate, it would take 12 cents on our ad valorem tax rate to bring in that $1.2 million. So I'm not saying that, without it, your tax rate would necessarily be 12 cents higher, but I'm saying we're doing a lot for the citizens and keeping your tax rate better by seeing that trend and doing everything we can to continue it. A lot of it, I think, has to do with grants and DRP grants and filling spaces that were undervalued on the tax rolls, and also not providing sales tax. So that's certainly a thing. But we don't want to see dark spaces in town, and I know JEDCO is not only looking at dark spaces but undeveloped land, and those are certainly good things we need to keep our attention on. That's for the next item. So with that, Mayor, it may be appropriate now to open the public hearing on the budget.
Okay, so I will open up a public hearing. So this is a time if you want to speak in favor of or against, if you'll come to the podium and state your name and talk about that.
How you guys doing? My name's Charles. First thing I want to address is the...
Sir, we need your name and address for the record, please.
Name and address.
Yes,
Charles
sir.
Flanders, 1018 County Road, 1511, Jacksonville, Texas.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the first thing I want to address is the animal control issue. We have more animals dropped off in Jacksonville than anywhere else. It is a dumping ground for dogs. You guys probably know that better than anybody, because one of the guys that worked for the city ended up getting attacked by a dog and ended up dying just not too long ago. What are your guys' plan as far as euthanizing some of the animals in the city, because it's becoming a real problem, and it seems like you guys are kind of like, we'll take care of it, or we'll do something about it, but it's becoming a real issue and nothing's really being done. So I'm glad that there's some money going towards it, but if we're just going to keep dumping money and trying to keep them all housed, that's going to be a problem. So I don't know if you guys have discussed euthanization, but that is a real issue. I have dogs come up to my property all the time with my kids out front being aggressive, coming up, trying to growl at them, trying to bite at them. That's a problem. And we've had people that have been attacked, so that's something that needs to be addressed immediately. The other issue is, it looks like our tax rate's going down, but the property value's going up. So really, the price of taxes are increasing, they're not decreasing. And, we see a lot of money being spent on things like a few years ago. I can't remember if it was $15 million or $17 million on a football field for the school. And, 1.8% of all kids in the nation are going to the NFL. The median income here is, I think, $36,000, $40,000 a year maybe. What are we doing to, put money to help our kids make more money and to teach them skills, as opposed to put all this money into things that football's great and all, I love football, but it's not going to help the future. And as far as the parks go, I'm glad you guys are putting money into the parks. There's some serious issues, whether it's screws coming out of the bottom, whether it's pieces missing on bridges where kids are going to trip, and now all of a sudden you have an issue because one of the kids broke their legs. That's a liability issue for you guys, so that definitely needs to be addressed. So I'm glad you guys are putting money into that. But I just really, who's auditing all the things that you guys are purchased? Who's your auditor for the city?
Patilla Brown and Hill does an annual audit.
Okay, awesome. All right, am I able to meet with her and kind of discuss some of the things that are being purchased or get a printout of those things?
We have financial transparency through the website, but you can find contact information, check registers, all those kinds of things.
Okay.
Yeah, this is not really a two-way dialogue platform. I'd be happy to talk to you anytime during the week, Mr. Flanders. I'll give you my cell phone number.
Okay.
Yep.
And those are the main things I wanted to address, but the big one's the animal problem. It needs to be fixed. And I don't know if you guys have discussed that or talked about that, and I know you guys have a little bit going to help with that issue, but that's a big issue.
Very good. Thank you for your comment.
Thank you.
You bet. Anyone else like to speak in favor of or against the proposed budget? If not, I will close the public hearing and go to item number B, which is to discuss and consider with possible action an ordinance adopting the 2023-2024 budget. And we need to take a recorded vote, so I'll make
Mayor, I'll make a motion we approve the ordinance adopting the 2023 to 2024 budget as presented by staff.
Okay, we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Tim McRae,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Mindy Gellick. Any discussion we may need to have? Okay, so I guess we'll start down at the end if you'll voice
Are we
your.
saying yes or
Aye.
aye? Okay, just
All in
want to
fa-
clarify
all in
that.
favor?
Aye.
Aye for Mr. Goins?
Aye.
Aye. Aye for Randy?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the ayes have it, so that motion passes. Item number 12 is another public hearing to hear and receive citizen input regarding the proposed tax rate of .63799. Did you have any other? You didn't
I really
any
don't
other?
have any additional slides.
Okay,
So
okay.
that's the public hearing, sir. That's just
Okay.
following all our state law and
Okay.
public notification requirements, but we're actually looking to adopt the rate there in B, which is slightly less than what was the voter approval rate.
Gotcha, okay. So at this time, I'll open the public hearing. If you would like to speak in favor of or against the proposed tax rate, now's your time to come. All right. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing, and we'll go to item B to discuss and consider with possible action approving an ordinance adopting the tax rate of .63763 per $100 valuation. And again, we need to take a recorded vote, so I'll
Mayor,
entertain a motion.
Mayor, I'll move that the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of a tax rate of .63763 which is effective a 4.25% increase in the tax rate.
Okay, we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Tim McRae,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Latitia Horace. All right, we'll start down at the end. All in
Why are
favor?
there two different numbers, 63799, 63763?
Yeah, that's correct. Councilmember Goen, we had to publish, basically from a public notice standpoint, this is what we had in the paper. We have to
Okay.
mirror that. But because we're adopting a rate below that,
Okay.
it's acceptable.
Okay.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Aye.
Aye, okay.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
Aye.
very good. So motion carries. Item number 13 is to discuss and consider with possible action the approval of a construction contract with SCI Construction for renovation of the Civic Center. Mr. James.
Yes, Mayor, City Council, before you this evening, we do have some construction contracts with SCI Construction. Formerly, they carried a different name, and they were actually responsible for the construction of City Hall where we sit this evening. They have proposed a CMAR AIA contract document for renovations at the Civic Center. You see the total cost of the renovations themselves at just over $627,000. Their fees associated with that amount, and then the not to exceed or the guaranteed maximum price of the $740,000. This is around $50,000 more than we originally anticipated. That amount does include a $50,000 owner's contingency, which, if you will, that's kind of a pot of money set aside for any things that may be discovered during the construction process, or maybe any additional change orders or bells and whistles or amendments that we would seek to make to the plans. We are able to cover that $50,000 with a transfer from the HOT fund this fiscal year to the venue tax fund. And I'd like to visit with you at our next council meeting about some opportunities with some other assets that are, if you will, held by the venue or the hot tax fund. Projected start would be September 18th, so just under a week from tonight, with substantial completion December 31st. We're doing everything we can to now expedite it, since we'll have contractors out there. Mr. Brad Trump of SCI Construction's here this evening, should you have any questions. Did a walkthrough. Brad, and I walked through the center again this afternoon around 2:30. He's very pleased with the level of work we were able to have done by the trustees. Feels that saved them a substantial amount of time as they mobilize to start renovations September 18th.
Okay.
Here's kind of a snapshot. If you're familiar with the building, some are, some may not be, but if you will, that's kind of a bird's eye view schematic of the building looking straight down. A portion of the slide there in the center and toward the bottom is your covered porte-cochere, if you will, or pull-through parking, and then a portion at the very top of the slide on the back with kind of the semicircle there is your covered patio. The remainder of that, what you see there, is covered, improved space. So we're improving, if you will, or renovating just around 2/3 of the total square feet of the building. So as you enter the building, you see enhancements to the restroom, and then as you work your way to the east, which is to the right, which would be to the south in the building, you'll see renovations and improvements to the grand ballroom and the lobby, and the former bar areas being removed to create a more passive and usable meeting space. We'll still have a catering kitchen, and then there are some future kind of out-year type improvements that we're hoping to make to the facility.
Okay. So with that, I'll entertain a motion on that contract.
I make a motion, we approve the construction contract with SCI Construction for the renovation of the Civic Center.
We have a motion by Councilwoman Mindy Gallick,
I'll second.
second by Councilman Rob Goen. Any discussion?
November 25th, sir.
We talked about that extensively today. So
Don't mess with Kirk Sadler. I'll give him your cell phone.
Is this a maximum guaranteed price?
it is a guaranteed maximum price.
Right.
In walking through the facility with Brad today, we feel like we have some cushion in there, even
good.
over and above our $50,000 owner's contingency. Some of the things the trustees were able to do certainly, I think, gave us some more comfort in that number.
Okay.
But that's where it is in terms of a guaranteed maximum price.
Perfect. Okay. All right. If there's no other discussion, all in favor say aye.
All right?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. Item number 14 is to discuss and consider with possible action approving a contract with JDS for IT services.
Yeah, Mayor, City Council, I didn't make a slide for this one. We did discuss it last Thursday. In this current fiscal year, the city used both the City of Tyler's IT department as well as JDS kind of in companionship with one another, or partnership. We found some efficiencies not only in the budget, on the budget side, but also we think in kind of the customer service side. The City of Tyler did us a phenomenal job the last several years, but we are recommending that we transition to only JDS. We feel like they're able to do what Tyler was doing and continue us moving forward. It's a contract in the amount of $75,000. We have a certain number of hours of service baked into each month for the city. Should we go over that, it's at a rate of $75 per hour. I'm not familiar with any times, unless we had major projects going on or migrations of data or something, that we would go over that number. We keep a close eye on it.
Okay. So hearing that explanation, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I make a motion that we approve a contract with JDS for IT services.
Very good. We have a motion by Councilwoman Latitia Horace,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Mindy Gallick. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. Item number 15 is to discuss and consider with possible action awarding the Community and Public Services Department uniform contract for 2024.
Yeah, Mayor, City Council, again, no slide here, but we're going from a contract from one vendor at about $15,000 a year to another vendor let me make sure I get it right. I apologize. We are recommending award of this contract to UniFirst. We're currently with Cintas at around $15,000 a year. UniFirst has what we believe to be just as good, if not better, in terms of services for our men and women in public and community services at a rate of around $10,000 a year, or a $5,000 savings. In the body of your briefing, we noted a mistake. We mentioned Aramark. However, it was intended to be UniFirst. I apologize.
Okay. Very good. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion that we award the Community and Public Service Department uniform contract for 2024.
Very good. Have a motion.
And to UniFirst?
UniFirst.
That's correct. Thank you.
UniFirst, okay.
Have a motion by Councilman Rob Goen,
Second?
second by Mayor Pro Tem Tim McRae. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. Item 16, open forum for mayor and council. So this is your time if you want to speak, comment.
Mayor, I'd like to just share, District 1, just want to say thank you so much to the staff. It looks like a retaining wall has been put in up in Lincoln Park. It looks great.
Good.
Folks are really very pleased with it, very excited to see that go up. Sometimes it's just the little things to just start cleaning up that parking lot over there. So
Sure.
it looks really good. And then the additional lighting that's been added up to Lincoln Park also looks great.
Good.
Feels much safer and a lot more walkable for folks that live in that area. So thank y'all so much for pushing that through. And then also just want to do a little shameless plug. So we have a community workday event coming up. It's called Neighbors Helping Neighbors. It's where we have volunteers come out, and we are literally going to be working on our neighbors' homes. So we'll be doing some minor repairs, some landscaping, some just kind of general cleanup for folks. Last year we worked on 3 homes. This year we plan to work on 5 homes. So we are actively seeking volunteers. So if you're interested, you can scan a little QR code. It'll take you to an Eventbrite page where you can sign up to volunteer. If you can't be there that day, we'll gladly take your money. So you can donate to us as well. So we love both. We're not going to discriminate against one or the other. So, but if you'd like more information about it, feel free to just reach out to me after the meeting. I'd be happy to share any more details with you.
But what day is that going to occur?
Yes, thank you. I'm sorry. It's Saturday, September 30th. So in about 3 weeks.
Okay. Very good. Anyone else? Nothing? Okay. City managers report.
Mayor, City Council, just a couple items to highlight. The first, you did an excellent job with the resolution reading this evening for National Night Out, but we hope to see you out there in just a couple weeks. Tuesday, October 3rd, 6 p.m. downtown. If you're not there, you're missing out. Also want to thank Mayor Pro Tem McRae in his role as an owner there at Bill McRae Ford. He, along with Super One Foods, donated the funds to purchase what you see there, that fire safety house. I think it's going to make its grand entrance downtown for National Night Out. It'll then be used throughout the month of October for Fire Safety Awareness Month at elementary schools as part of JISD's, allowing our firefighters to come in and do some education. Got to walk through it. It was a sauna the day we walked through it, so we didn't spend a lot of time in there. But really cool educational things all throughout. And so really want to thank Bill McRae Ford and Super One Foods for making that possible, and look forward to National Night Out. In addition, 2 quick things to just call everyone's attention to. These aren't necessarily new, but we would love to see better community participation in these because they save you money. The first being that the 2nd and 4th Wednesdays we have the free yard waste pickup. There are some exclusions there. Your yard waste can't be mixed in with your normal household trash or other bulky items. I find the easiest way is to just email bulky@jacksonvilletx.org. We're very prompt at emailing you back and scheduling that, and providing you any additional information or asking questions that we may need. But you're also more than welcome to call us here at City Hall at the number there. This is something we did just to help complement the rollout of the blue trash carts. You know, when you're cleaning up a large yard or even a small yard, depending on its state, you may fill up those containers. And so we wanted to provide a way that we would come to you. We come straight to your door and clean that up for you for free, 2 days a month. This will be our first fall season, so we do anticipate more leaves being picked up, and then around Christmas we'll probably do a bunch of Christmas trees. So looking forward to seeing the benefit of that. We talked about the tax rate and the average home and the $3 a month. Well, there's an opportunity for every citizen of Jacksonville to save $3 a month if they just subscribe or sign up for electronic payments and electronic water bills instead of receiving them in the mail. So anyway, encourage you to do that. That's a way to save $3 a month, $36 a year on your utility bill, which will offset any impact to the average home here on our tax rates in the coming fiscal year. That's all I have.
Okay. Very good. So it is 6:47. We'll stand adjourned, and thank you for coming and participating. Appreciate it.